once you get in touch with them, if they're being a little bit difficult, just what is, your duty as an officer of the court, as well as being appointed as their attorney. And then an even bigger issue is who pays that appointed attorney. In a case that I had recently, I was fortunate in that there was a service member who we were trying to get a default decree. And a default decree means we actually managed to serve the person because we knew where they were located. They were in Germany in military duty. So we managed to get them served, knew they had notice, and then when the time came to reply, that 30-day time period to file the response, person did not respond. Then we went to enter a default decree, which can occur 60 days after the date of service. Again, the Service Member Civil Relief Act then says at that point we have to appoint someone if this person is still being non-responsive. And non-responsive means by not participating in the proceedings. I was fortunate in that I called someone, an attorney locally that I worked with previously, and asked if they would agree to be appointed to represent that individual. Our court here in Pima County, at least, does not have a list of attorneys, at least not yet, who will agree to represent people in these instances. And that individual was nice enough as well to not request payment. But it doesn't always happen that way.
What ultimately happens in this case where the person is totally non-responsive? Does the court enter a decree, or?
Eventually, we were able to get it entered. It was unfortunate in that it caused my client's side, to incur additional fees because of the additional paperwork that we had to do. One of the things that comes into play frequently is MySpace, and people use the internet a lot, and we were able to show that this person really didn't, and that's when you ask for relief. We were able to show that this person didn't really qualify under the Service Member Civil Relief Act because we accessed her MySpace, the part that you can access without, having passwords or whatever you need to have. And it showed that the individual was updating the MySpace page on a regular basis.
They were ignoring this. But
they were ignoring it. So I kind of pointed out to the court, this person really isn't, unavailable and doesn't qualify when you look at the language of the Act for the protections of the Act, because they're not, Germany is not a war zone presently, even though they're active duty military. I represented the party who was actually stationed in Iraq in the war zone, and we pointed out the difference, and that my client here, who's actually active duty in the war zone, is able to participate by hiring an attorney. This person, on the other hand, is in an area that's not a war zone, has the ability to, play around on MySpace at will.
So what finally happened?
So
you got the
judgment? Court granted the judgment, yes.
In that situation, let's take it to the next step. Would that person then have been able to come back and reopen the judgment or not?
There is language in the Act that allows a person to reopen the judgment. You have to do so within 90 days, I believe, and without looking at my paperwork, I believe it's...
Okay. If people want to email us, they can email us as well, and we'll get the answer for them.
Within 90 days of the actual entry of the judgment. And it's not something that you can do just because. You have to show that you both have a meritorious defense and that there was a reason for you not participating at the time. So it's not something that the courts do lightly. Our courts like finality, and if you had an opportunity to participate because you had knowledge of the proceedings at the time, it's quite possible that that relief will not be granted.
Does it make any difference if you're the respondent or the petitioner in this case at all?
No, the Act uses the language defendant, I believe, but it's probably more appropriately interpreted to mean just a participant in the proceedings, especially when it's in divorce actions, because whether you're a plaintiff or a defendant, we use the words petitioner and respondent here, is purely a matter of who filed first.
If people, let's see, let me put you back on the screen so we can see where it is. Once again, it's where you can get Attorney Green and get some more information from her website or her telephone number. And is there information? I know it's hard. There's so much. If people want more information, what do they do?
Yeah. Again, my recommendation is, if you're active duty military, first is consult with your JAG member, and they should have lots of information for you. There is a website.
For those of people, and I know what JAG is, and most people who watch TV and watch the JAG show probably a few years ago probably know what it is. But what is JAG?
Judicial Advocate General Counsel, I believe.
It's the military
the military attorney. Consult with JAG officer. Also to review, again, the ABA Family Law website, look for the military committee of the family law section, and there is a wealth of information there.
I can't remember the author's name. There's an excellent book you referred to me a few years ago, the ABA does.
Sullivan.
It's an excellent book that really is, I couldn't believe how thick it was when I saw it. I mean, it's hard to believe. It's like about that thick.
Right. And I will give credit here to Mr. Sullivan because most of the information that I have reviewed that has assisted me with working on these cases is from compilations that he's prepared, and he is very open about sharing information. He has a website of his own, and when you go to the ABA website, you can click and jump to his website, and there are just numerous publications that are free and you can print.
You mentioned earlier, and I know you and I both have a very big concern for children in divorce cases. Is there other issues, other things dealing with this that affect the custody disputes or children that you'd like to share with us?
Well, one of the things that's becoming more prevalent, I think, when dealing with children and divorcees, not just military members, is the other parent, the new person, the step parent, or sometimes the fiance or girlfriend, significant other.
The new significant other.
Right. And especially though with military members, when a military member is deployed, or for example, as you say, the weekend reserve duty, and it happens to be their time to be with the children. Many military members and parents who are not military want the children to be in their home in any event and spend time with their new family. And that seems to cause problems frequently. I've seen 2 cases now, each coming out differently in the case of military members who have been deployed. One case has said that the language of whatever the parenting plan is still stays in effect, and it's okay for the military member to, in essence, give his or her time to the step parent. So if you have a plan that says, the children every week one parent's home and they alternate to the others, the deployed parent, even though they're out of the country, the child would still go to his home during that week. And I've seen cases, on the other hand, that say, no, we're not going to do that. If the parenting time is for the parent, if the parent is gone for a significant amount of time, then the child shall remain with the parent who is still available.
I'm always amazed how fast the show goes. We're actually almost at the end of our time, Pat, and we didn't get into military pensions, leases, and life insurance and other things, but there's a lot more to do that one. So if you want more information about that, please make sure you contact Pat or myself or somebody so you can get the information to Judge Advocate and do that. Pat, I really want to thank you tremendously for coming on today. I know this isn't, what people always like doing, but I think it's a real service to our community to come on and talk about this very important topic in this time. And I appreciate it. And people, please, if you have more questions, contact Pat. And you've been watching Divorce TV with Wally Marcus and our special guest, Attorney Pat Green, talking about military divorce.
Okay. Thank you.